99% of the dungeon is passed. There's one thing left, the altar of the end. They thought they were beating the boss, but before they knew it, they started losing the war. And then, the world was erased. The game has started a new chapter. In reality, to survive, he teams up with a monster and became the one feared even by the gods. It's not a game anymore, no, it's a hunt. In front of us is the Azure Land hidden dungeon, altar of the end, almost 99% cleared. A heroine with shining wings fights off a powerful explosion ahead. The wounded warrior waits with annoyance for reinforcements, realizing that time is running out. A demonic figure emerges from the flames, disdainfully calling them stupid insects. The hidden boss Ember, with the remaining 10.5% health, threatens to destroy everyone. Suddenly, another character unleashes a fire attack on the girl, shouting about the flames of his anger. The girl desperately puts up a sanctuary shield, surrounded by explosions. A hand with a glowing amulet appears over her, saying, "I told you." Saito Meiji, a level 96 healer, appears with a reproachful, "Don't call me a babysitter." Hiyane Hitomi, a level 97 fighter, strengthened by his magic, rushes forward, ready to fight. Hiyane Hitomi throws a barrage of punches at Ember, but Ember just grins maliciously. The boss scornfully declares that her resistance is useless. Ember's powerful counterattack knocks Hitomi away, dealing her massive damage. The girl flies head over heels, unable to resist the demon's rage. A wounded Hitomi desperately shouts, "Now!" as she signals to her allies. Nisi Roan breaks into the battle, promising to deal with the monster. His rapid attack deals millions of damage points to Ember. Nisi Roan, a level 96 seeker, rejoices at the lucky hit. However, Ember responds with a crushing pillar of fire, taunting the seeker's speed. The Godslayer attack paralyzes Nishi, leaving him helpless in the face of the flames. Hitomi is desperate, and Saito shouts the name of the fallen Roan. Suddenly, space cracks like broken glass. The allies smile with relief. He's here. A mighty warrior with a fiery sword descends on Ember. The strongest has finally appeared. The late hero apologizes, having been delayed by the forces of brother Ember. Kamahata Shizuya, the level 98 commander, promises to send Ember after his brother. Shizuya stares fearlessly at the wall of demonic flames. The commander charges and Ember roars, "Die!" Shizuya fights several fire demons at the same time in a whirlwind of combat. Saito warns Shizuyu, "Ember's flame will paralyze you with prolonged contact." Hitomi resolutely declares, "Enough is enough, the allies are tense to the limit." Shizuya rushes forward, promising retribution in 3 seconds. His fiery blade slams down on Ember with incredible force. A powerful strike from the commander releases a golden dragon that devours the demon. The blast wave from Shizui's attack shakes the entire dungeon. Ember, with a hole in his chest, can't believe his eyes. His body crumbles. Mapo Tofu Guild defeats Boss Ember in record time. Shizuya calmly looks up as the dark aura of the dungeon dissipates. Roan is shocked by the instant victory. Hitomi admires the strength of her leader. Hitomi casually remarks that the boss wasn't that strong, but Saito contradicts her. Hitomi quips that Roan risked his life by creating the breach, and Roan is outraged by her insinuation. Saito admires that Shizuya is not only strong in combat, his judgment and understanding of the game are beyond the ordinary. Saito realizes that Shizuya won with an instant strategy based on a complete understanding of the system. He is the king of the Azure Land. Suddenly, Shizuya receives a system notification, his eye glowing mysteriously. A screen pops up in front of Shizuya. All 100% of the achievements in the game are unlocked by him. Shizuya states, "Finally, all the achievements are collected. This game is over for me." Suddenly, a new unique achievement, Omniscience and Omnipotence, appears, which he did not even know about. The system announces an automatic Azure Land update and server shutdown after 5 seconds, sending players into shock. Allies are perplexed. A new version without warning? Saito scolds the irresponsible administration. 4 figures wearing VR glasses stare into the distance. Shizuya anticipates, "I'm looking forward to it, soon." The screen goes blank with a farewell message. "We hope to see you again." 5 days later, a high-speed train rushes through urban landscapes. News reports are discussing the sudden closure of Azure Earth without explanation. Shizuya looks at the phone in disbelief, not understanding what has happened. He laments that he was thrown out before he saw the effect of the unique achievement. Shizuya checks the Mapo Tofu group chat. His fellow guildsmen are also at a loss. The train arrives at Hamamizu Station. A message arrives thanking you for your help with the achievement program. Warning sign at the station, the next train will pass without stopping. Shizuya chuckles as he reads Tsuji's tease about his unexpected gratitude. Sudden message in the chat. Look, declaration of war. And a link, intriguing Shizuyu. The streamer declares, an important piece of evidence has been found and the Mapo Tofu Guild is under suspicion. In the Mapo Tofu achievement rating, we scored 101%. How is this possible? The streamer demands an explanation from the guild leader, Shizui Kamahata. The chat suggests, did the game close because of Shizui's 101st achievement? On the train, Shizuya ponders the streamer's words while the other passenger panics. Suddenly, Shizuya screams in surprise. Something is happening in the carriage. His eyes widen in shock, reflecting an unknown threat. Passengers and train cars are drawn into the shining digital vortex. People's bodies begin to break up into blue digital particles. Shizuya looks at his hand, which is covered in glowing blue patterns. This is... The passengers are in a panic, being sucked into the digital maelstrom, their bodies disintegrating. A powerful blue bolt hits Shizuya, leaving a trail of blood. Shizuya grabs her chest in shock game characters. A creepy armored monster with sharp spikes appears from the rift. Invaded the real world, looming over the terrified people. Not one, but a whole group of glowing blue knights inspires horror. What are these monsters? The train is in chaos. People are screaming in fear, trying to escape from an unknown threat. One of the passengers violently fights off the monster with a glowing weapon. The girl screams in horror for help as the monster looms over her. Shizui's eyes reflect the radiance and horror of what's happening, and he can't believe what he's seeing. A sharp pain shoots through Shizuya, blood spurting out in all directions. A huge shining blade descends on him from above. Shizuya is at a loss. What's going on? A familiar knight appears in front of him. Where does this familiar feeling come from? He recognizes this technique. I've seen this move before. A powerful impact shakes everything around. Sparks fly in all directions. The knight spins in a whirlwind of deadly attack. Shizuya barely dodges the crushing energy strike. Sudden insight, so that's it. He recalls the game technique. Shizuya stomped his foot resolutely, activating some kind of ability. Shizuya shouts, don't back down, forward, deflecting the attack with shards of energy. The knight looms menacingly, his blue aura growing denser. Shizuya whispers with icy calm. As expected, and his eye lights up. Before Shizuya, his status pops up. Level 1, the title, Omniscience and Omnipotence. The knight is surprised. What is this technique? I've seen her many times. His status is also visible. Shizuya recognizes the attack, Commander's basic skill. The system confirms, this is Lion's Slash, a level 35 Commander skill. The powerful blow leaves a huge mark on the ground, and Shizuya barely dodged it. Shizuya looks around. This place seems like a shortcut to the worm den. In front of him is a view of the Station of Hearts, a familiar game dungeon. Shizuya gets down on one knee and assesses the new dangerous reality. He looks at the knight anxiously. Damn! Is he targeting me? Shizuya starts running, realizing, with this level difference, I can't win head-on. He rushes to the edge of the platform, chased by the monster. We'll have to take the risk! Shizuya remembers, I forgot. This is the real world, a mistake will cost a life. He climbs up a sheer cliff, dodging the looming threat. The knight rushes to attack, and Shizuya thinks, but I haven't played for so long, I just enjoyed it. Shizuya barely dodges, flattening himself against the wall as blue energy surges past. His eyes glow blue, and a sly grin appears on his face. I'm sorry, but... The knight misses by flying past, and Shizuya completes the thought. Game over. Shizuya feels the taste of victory as his level skyrockets to 8th. He lets out a sigh of relief. Phew, my gamble worked. Shizuya recalls, terrain skills, although difficult, are effective against strong enemies. Suddenly, he thinks of his comrades, looking anxiously at the phone. Guild chat panic. The city of Rinkai is overrun by the game world, but the others are safe. Without having time to rest, he sees new monster shadow hunters of different levels. Shizuya, now level 8, understands, you need to protect yourself first. The system detects a dropped object near his foot and starts analyzing it. A glow appears around Shizui. That commander's weapon? A huge shining crystal sword materializes in front of him. The system shows the characteristics of the sword, unique, level 25 with incredible bonuses. Shizuya is in shock. What kind of crazy stats does this weapon have? He can't believe his eyes. How can you get such a treasure in the beginning? The system suggests merging, but warns, due to hate harassment, the owner will find you in 7 days. Shizuya is puzzled. Hate harassment? This is a player's skill. Why does the monster have it? A new enemy. A level 25 Royal Shadow Archer is aiming for Shizuya. A powerful energy shot flies straight at him, shaking everything around him. Shizuya is faced with the merge yes-no option again, and he resolutely chooses yes. Shizuya grabs his sword. Survival is the top priority right now. The Omniscience and Omnipotence title activates, unlocking all commander classes and new skills. Shizuya realizes, really, all commander skills are open? He remembers the Brave Banner skill and the energy gathers at his feet. Shizuya activates Brave Banner, increasing the speed, defense, and health of his allies. His goal is clear. First, you need to get away from these creatures. The description of Lion's Cut pops up, not only an attack but also a triple jump. Shizuya understands this is a great movement skill allowing you to make a triple jump. Using the Lion's Cut, he flies up the stairs with lightning speed. The Shadow Hunters give chase, but Shizuya is already on top. Cautiously peeking out, he anxiously checks. It seems to have come off. Shizuya looks at the sword with relief. This thing saved me, both stats and skills. Shizuya sees the sword's stats. They are much stronger than in the game. But he is tormented by hate persecution, and this is the main problem. He decides, we need to get out of this cave first before it's too late. Ahead, an army of Shadow Hunters is waiting for him at the exit. Shizuya peeks around the corner. There's an incredible amount of them. Suddenly, he notices a strange glow. What? This rebirth point? Shizuya is in shock. But this is a player mechanic. Why the monster? A terrible truth dawns on him. This monster is a player, and we are... Are we his prey now? A familiar world opens up before him. This, a new version of Azure Earth? Shizuya realizes, so for 7 days we will be chased by enemies that are constantly reborn. Shizuya understands. The player will chase him until he gets his weapon back. He decides, I can't just sit around waiting to die. I know this game better than anyone. Shizuya looks at the enemies, even if the opponent is an immortal player. He rushes down the escalator. Even with 1 life, I will definitely survive. Shizuya descends, assuming, if I'm right, the dungeon leads to the so-called Lair of Worms. The entrance gapes in front of him. Heart of Farv, C-rank dungeon. As I thought, it's here. A giant worm appears out of the darkness, but Shizuya remembers, there's a hidden way to get through without fighting the boss. His face lights up with hope. This way I can level up while avoiding the player's pursuit. However, doubt creeps in. But if this element isn't present in reality, you'll have to fight the boss. Shizuya looks gloomy. The chances of defeating the boss alone are almost 0 right now. Shizuya is horrified to see the Shadow Hunters respawn right behind him. Damn it, they're already here! The guy rushes deep into the worm dungeon. The hero quickly glides down a creepy, winding tunnel. Pushing off from the slimy wall, he decides, let's break away first. Shizuya rushes forward, heading for the supposed secret passage from the lair. He frantically examines the dark vaults. Where is it? Where is this passage? Panic seizes him. Too bad I can't find him. Following him out of the darkness rushes a flock of giant carnivorous worms. Suddenly, Shizui's eyes light up. Found it! Here it is, the very ledge. The system declares, activated the skill, Leon Slash, his chance to save. Shizuya Lion's Cut flies over the worm-infested abyss. He barely dodged, leaving a horde of writhing creatures behind. Shizui looks relieved, but he knows the danger isn't over. Ahead, he finds a shining spring. These are Farav's tears. The system announces, the Farav trial has begun, granting power, but with the risk of a curse. Shizuya learns the mechanics. Great, just like in the game, you can get 50 points. He dives into the source and his stat points start to skyrocket. At the same time, somewhere far away, an enraged player continues his fierce pursuit. Suddenly, Shizuya feels something amiss, and his concentration is disrupted. He has a disturbing vision, a girl in despair in the face of a menacing shadow. Shizuya realizes that his mind is getting weaker. Reality hits harder than the game. There are voices calling his name in his mind. Images of smiling guild friends appear in front of him. But the vision is distorted. Friends turn into creepy, judgmental dead people. Shizuya screams from the unbearable mental pain that is gnawing at him. He realizes that the curse is getting stronger, and the mental attacks are getting tougher. Shizuya struggles to maintain his composure, clenching his fists. Another tear of Farav slowly sinks into the shining spring. He grits his teeth. Just one more day! I have to endure no matter what it takes! With insane determination, Shizuya stabs himself to stop the mental attack. Shizuya turns around in horror, feeling a deadly threat behind him. The Dark Knight appears in front of him, the same player who overtook him. A thought flashes through his mind. Is this really the end? He understands that a simple person can't beat an endlessly reviving player. It was all just my naive hopes, Shizuya thinks, his strength draining away. Desperation whispers, maybe we should just give up and stop this? If I give up, I won't have to suffer anymore. The temptation flashes. But suddenly his will flares up. No, this is not true. I'm the strongest player. No matter what my level is, I won't lose. It's just that I can't respawn. So I don't need a rebirth either. I can handle it, he decides with renewed fury. Shizuya shouts that he won't lose, and Farav's tears float around him. The system declares, recognized by Farav, you have become one of his kind. A small worm wraps around Shizui's head as he sits in the spring, causing him to become alarmed. Shizuya touches his chest in a daze, wondering, that was an illusion? The dizziness grows, he puts it down to hunger and decides to get out. The guy struggles to his feet, intending to leave the place. He is sure. Once I have passed the test, these creatures will not touch me. Suddenly, sinister red eyes flash out of the darkness above the small worms. Shizuya looks up in horror, sensing something amiss. This is... A giant worm grows up in front of him, the dungeon boss himself. The monstrous mouth of the worm boss opens in front of Shizuya. The giant worm spews out the essence, and Shizuya looks at it in surprise. The boss lets out a deafening roar, its many eyes blazing with rage. Shizuya understands that after eating the essence, he will regain his strength. He was taken for his own. It turns out that the high-level players have left, leaving only those who are weaker than level 20. I'm currently equivalent to level 25. I can fight, Shizuya decides, surrounded by lightning. A powerful bolt of lightning splits the ground, hitting shadow enemies. Shizuya uses Stun Dash and Lion Slash to attack swiftly. The guy lunges forward, his fist wrapped in electricity ready to strike. It soars into the air, activating the chasing arrow to attack the enemy below. System announces, Brave Flag. Shizui's speed has been increased by 20%. He dodges and the enemy attack hits the fire hydrant. A bright flash blinds everything around you, creating a veil. Shizuya understands, I can't stay here any longer. While the enemy is disoriented, he decides, we need to get out of here. Flashing lightning, Shizuya prepares to dash through the chaos. But the shadowy enemy overtakes him, dealing a painful blow. Shizuya is knocked back against the wall, getting a shoulder wound. Damn it! I've let my guard down! The guy reproaches himself, noticing the approach of the enemy. The Dark Knight notices a glowing object in Shizui's possession. This portal stone? The Dark Knight sneers. A whole group, no wonder they found me so quickly. Shizuya, bleeding profusely, realizes, there's no escaping this. Suddenly, a giant worm swoops down on the enemies, protecting Shizuya. A lot of small worms crawl out of the dark hole. A whole army of larvae rushes forward, creating a living wave. Shizuya lets out a sigh of relief. Everything! I'm saved! Without you, I would have died. He touches his chest, feeling that there is still plenty of essence left. Shizui's gaze falls on the broken portal stone on the ground. Determination flashes in his eyes. A new plan is born. Everything! Swallow this portal stone and move at full speed, he shouts to the worms. Shizuya understands that with such worms, players can't escape. He commands the worms, so crush them at full speed. Shizuya is surprised. I got experience for players killed by worms. My level has increased by 9. He notices the broken equipment. It's a pity that their belongings were also destroyed. Damn the rich. Shizuya decides to retreat before their rebirth, fuming at their immortality. Meanwhile, the drones announce an emergency evacuation. The city is attacked by unknown creatures. While some are fleeing, others are looting, hurrying to take away the loot. In the store, a blue-haired girl with headphones is humming nonchalantly. The guy calls out to her and she responds, I'm on my way. The girl takes a jar of mints from the shelf. A blue-haired girl wants to pay while chaos rages outside the store window. Surprised by the cashier's absence, she decides to pay for the mints herself via her phone. When she goes outside, she complains about poor communication, not noticing the monsters around her. The girl is annoyed that she can only listen to downloaded songs while the city is on fire. Suddenly, someone grabs her arm. She screams, dropping her purchases. The hooded guy pushes her up against the wall, shushing, "Quiet," to indicate danger. The monster's huge clawed paw lands with a crash right next to it. A giant monster appears in front of them. The girl complains that she almost ran into it. The system identifies the enemy as Shadow Assassin Level 25. "We've been spotted! Run!" the companion shouts, dragging her away from the pursuing monsters. The Shadow Slayer swings its claws at the hooded man, who barely dodges. "Watch out!" the guy shouts, pulling the girl away from danger, his eyes glowing. The blue-haired girl turns around in shock, not understanding what is happening. The hooded guy, who turns out to be Shizuya, blocks the monster's attack with an energy blade. The system shows Shizuya Tokiwaki, Level 17, Commander, Omniscient, Heart of Farav. Shizuya lets out a furious cry as he swings the golden blade. The monster meets Shizuya's attack with its powerful claw charged with dark energy. Retreat attack, basic assassin movement. Shizuya counterattacks in the fall. It's not profitable to fight an assassin in such a maze, Shizuya decides, leading the girl away. Shizuya rushes through the ruined shop, dodging the pursuing monster. A girl with a phone takes pictures of Shizuya while a monster looms over her. Shizuya screams in a panic, "Why are you still here?" He drags her away, telling her, "We don't know how long we can hold them off. Move it." The girl reproaches him. "How can you be so insensitive? Think about the situation." Shizuya is taken aback by her calmness, and she just giggles in response. The girl's gaze falls on Shizuya's glowing hand. And what's more important, this hand. Shizuya looks at his hand, which is covered in blue energy lines. A lot has happened. He remembers picking up the player's weapons and gaining their power. His eyes flash with a blue light. For now, let's leave it at that. Signal. The camera zooms out, showing a burning city against a flaming sunset. As Shizuya heads towards the ruins of Aoyama's hideout, the girl calls out to him. The girl is surprised. "This is your first time in Rinkai? You know more than I do. I used to play here a lot." Shizuya unfolds the map. "I have a map, don't I? It's not about Rinkai." He continues while looking at the map. "I just know Han Village well, the initial zone of Azure Land." Shizuya realizes Rinkai's map is perfectly aligned with Han Village. Was Han created in the image of Rinkai? "Why are we in such an empty place?" the girl asks, and Shizuya answers. "I want to check something out. Why are you following me?" The girl resolutely steps forward on the stone steps. She introduces herself indignantly. "Stop calling me you! I'm Kokone Ichijo! Call me Kokone!" Kokone cheerfully admits, "I'm coming for you, because it just seemed fun." Shizuya thinks, she doesn't have any sense of danger at all. Shizuya activates some kind of ability, and a blue glow envelops his legs. Shizuya looks resolutely ahead, Kokone following him under the anxious sunset sky. They're at the entrance of the hidden cave. Kokone recognizes, "We're here!" "What's going on here?" Kokone recalls. "This is our old bomb shelter for games." "Quiet!" Shizuya hisses, their lanterns illuminating the dark passage. Gunshots ring out ahead, illuminating the tunnel with bright flashes. In the depths of the cave, two men are desperately shooting back at the advancing threat. "I told you, you can't do it alone. Hurry up!" a fighter shouts, another in despair. "That's impossible." Out of the darkness come a level 20 Shadow Mage and a level 23 Shadow Soldier. A level 18 Shadow Cleric also appears. The heroes watch from cover. Shizuya notices. The ranks are lower than those at the station, and they have almost no experience. Shizuya rushes forward, his hand glowing with energy. "We can win!" Kokone calls out his name in alarm. "Shizuya!" He jumps over a barrage of fire. One of the fighters is surprised. "Wait! This one!" The Shadow Cleric is shocked to see Shizuya flying at him. "Human?" Shizuya lashes out at the cleric, shouting, "We'll take out the healer first!" He explains the tactics. Then the tank will rush forward without treatment. Shizuya deftly dodges the Shadow Soldier's attack. Too slow. The remaining fighters open covering fire on the monsters. Shadow monsters are puzzled by the sudden support of their opponents. Suddenly, a giant ice wall appears in front of the monsters, blocking their path. The ice wall splits, showering the fighters with shards of ice. The fighters look around in confusion. Where did the monsters go? Shizuya calmly appears, saying, "Looks like they've retreated for now. Don't waste ammo." The female fighter points a gun at Shizuya. "Why are you like them?" Kokone runs in, shouting, "I'll vouch for him. He's human." She explains to the surprised fighters, "He saved me in the city." The soldier girl, having calmed down a little, suggests, "We'll talk inside." There are many people inside the cave. One recognizes the fighter. "You were an instructor at the Army Reserve Academy." Kokone throws up a hand in delight. "I also trained there." The female soldier tells Shizuya and Kokona, "We were on a mission. The connection was lost. The monsters chased us here." A female soldier explains, "These are civilians that we saved. At first, there were hundreds of them." Shizuya grimly assesses the situation. This chaos is insane. Protecting so many is already an achievement, but the instructor suggests, "They're not going to let us go that easily, are they?" Shizuya nods. "It's a cruel truth, but if I'm right." Shizuya recalls the game. This cave is a must-have dungeon for beginners, and you two... Bosses pop up in his mind. Level 15 twin demons, cannon, and crossbow. The fighter analyzes. The male hits the square with magic, but is slow. The instructor adds, "The female is fast and accurate, but her attacks are weaker." Kokone looks anxiously at Shizuya, who is clutching his head. "What's wrong with you?" Shizuya, coming to, whispers, "I'm fine." Now it all falls into place. In his mind's eye, the city is on fire. The game has become a reality. Everything is connected. The human world is now a monster lair. Shizuya realizes, suddenly appeared, become players in this nightmare. He wonders, who created this perverse game where you can kill people under the name of justice? A homemade alarm system made of cans is strung in the aisle. A foot hits the tripwire and the cans shatter with a crash. The fighters and Shizuya tensed. "They're here! There are more of them and they have become stronger." Kokone takes off. "I'll check it out." Shizuya tries to stop her. "Hey!" The instructor shouts to the civilians, "Everyone take cover. Things can wait." Kokone peeks around the corner, surprise on her face, and a timer ticks next to her. 4, 5. 5 armored shadow monsters emerge from the darkness, ready to attack. Shizuya, the fighter, and the instructor prepare for battle. "Shion, evacuate the civilians. We'll hold them off." Shadow warrior, archer, and mage enemies have leveled up and are ready to fight. Shizuya, with glowing eyes, notes, "The glowing arrow. They've prepared for the dark." He rushes forward. "I'll take care of those in the back. Cover them with fire." The soldier answers, "Got it!" Shizuya rushes towards the monsters, preparing a spell. "Fireball!" The shadow mage gets several accurate hits with fireballs. Shizuya, in a whirlwind of combat, dodges and attacks amid the explosions. A huge shadow warrior goes into a blind defense. Shizuya leaps over the defending warrior, striking from above. The instructor and the fighter open heavy fire, covering Shizuya. Shizui's powerful attack shatters the shadow mage. Shizuya rushes forward, dodging the arrows. "They're newbies, just basic skills. Let's finish quickly." A level 25 Royal Shadow Archer is preparing Technical Shot Lantern Arrow. Shizuya abruptly dodges a powerful blue arrow. He lands, surprised by the enemy's technique. "Technical Shot?" Shizuya spots a mage preparing a spell. Only an archer has combat experience. Suddenly, a powerful fire explosion is heard. A female fighter fires a rifle, shouting, "Hey, are you okay?" Shizuya, with a shining sword, replies, "Yes, no problem. Players' combat power is growing." It swiftly cuts through a level 20 shadow mage. Shizuya's face darkens as he sees the ghostly silhouette. So their skill is growing at the expense of the players. A level 20 shadow mage glows with green runes on her chest. Hell, damage dealt is instantly healed. They have a healer. Shizuya dodges a powerful blue shot, while the archer covers the mage. Shizuya grits her teeth. "Bad! There's no way I can close the distance!" The instructor decides, to break through, you'll have to use those odd guys. But suddenly, a huge crystal shield appears in front of Shizuya. He hits the shield, but it barely cracks as the shadow defender holds it. A powerful blow knocks Shizuya away. The instructor shouts, "Retreat, it's too dangerous!" Shizuya struggles to get up, holding his head. Blood on Shizui's arm, he thinks. In the game, I wouldn't hesitate to sacrifice someone. Shizuya hesitates. But they're real people. Are you really going to do this? In the depths of the cave, the terrified civilians, among them a little girl, cowered in fear. Someone hands a lollipop to a crying girl. "Here you go." Kokone tries to cheer up the baby. Don't frown like that, wrinkles will appear. The girl thanks her. Kokone gently pats the girl's head. It's okay. Where are your mom and dad? The girl replies with tears in her eyes. They brought me to my sister Akina, and then... The instructor shouts at Shizuya as he fires back, Retreat! I'll pave the way with bombs! She resolutely aims. If we do this, we will live for a few more days. Shizuya rushes into battle again. One more time! The flag of courage is activated. System message, movement speed and maximum health of allies increased. Shizuya with glowing eyes says, I'm sorry. Kokone looks at the bright blue light, whispering, Little sister. A ring of blue energy radiates from Shizui. Kokone recalls Akina and Takuto. A crying girl with a lollipop asks, looking at the fighter, They're not going to die, are they? The blue beam hits Takuto. The girl continues, Takuto bro secretly told me. Shizuya stands over the fallen monster. I'm sorry. To defeat the players... His face is in shadow as he continues, I had no choice but to sacrifice you. A chain symbol appears above the two shadow monsters. In Azure Land, chain is a special system. The symbol of the chain breaks, binding the power of two people. The instructor yells out in frustration, Takuto-san! And the system explains, if one of the linked players is killed... The instructor in despair shouts over the fallen fighter, Pull yourself together! Shizuya with a shining sword calls out, No time to grieve, retreat! The instructor's hand clutches the weapon, shaking with rage and grief. She lowers her head, realizing the loss. And the second one, too. Another soldier lies motionless in the rubble. The instructor grabs the bag, her eyes full of determination. These monsters. She spins her bag, preparing herself for a desperate move. Bundles of dynamite fly out of the bag, rushing towards the enemies. The deadly cargo flies straight at a group of shadow creatures. The instructor's eyes are burning, and she opens fire, shouting, Everybody die! A series of fiery explosions shake the cave, engulfing everything around it. The instructor looks in shock at Shizuya and the other fighter, who are thrown back by the blast wave. She falls to her knees, exhausted and overwhelmed by what is happening. The instructor bitterly recalls, I could get promoted faster, but he wouldn't listen when I suggested we become partners. She thinks of Takuto. He stayed behind to save the civilians who couldn't leave with me instead of retreating. Tears are streaming down her face as she screams in frustration, What kind of idiot is doing this? The instructor falls to her face, her weapon flying off to the side. Shizuya looks ahead with determination, his eyes glowing blue. A tear rolls down Shizui's cheek, and he stifles a cough from the smoke and dust. Takuto suddenly comes to coughing. Ouch! What was that just now? Shizuya explains. The flag of bravery saved Takuto, the blow wasn't fatal. Takuto is surprised. You beat them all? Shizuya thinks the wound is too light. The instructor furiously punches Takuto in the chest, shouting, Idiot! Takuto screams in surprise, and the instructor recoils, her hand bumping into something hard. She looks down at her hand, then at Takuto's chest, puzzled. What is it? Takuto pulls out a glittering ring from under his clothes. He confesses that he wanted to give them the ring when they were safe, and it saved him. The instructor, overwhelmed with emotion, hugs Takuto tightly. Tears run down her cheeks, and she whispers, I've been waiting for this for so long. Shizuya watches the heartwarming scene with a slight smile. Shizuya relieved. We're safe for now. Kokone asks about the couple. Takuto comforts the instructor. Even against a rookie boss, the system helped. It's not hopeless. Shizuya with shining eyes is sure there is a chance to win. But after half an hour, Shizui's face darkens and scratches appear on it. A huge shadow monster looms over the heroes. Despair has returned. One of the civilians shouts angrily, Go outside? Are you kidding me? The man continues, We're here because it's safer. Outside, it's suicide. The rest of the civilians support him. Exactly! We're not going anywhere. The instructor tries to convince them. The enemy knows this place. Soon there will be more of them. Shizuya looks back at the two of them, understanding. And that's not all. Shizuya darkly suggests, If I'm right, the defeated enemies will return soon. His glowing eyes narrow, and they will become even stronger than before. One of the civilians becomes desperate. Are they being reborn endlessly? Then resistance is useless. The man looks at Shizuya in disbelief. And why should we believe you? You're just like those monsters. Kokone and the instructor listen as the man accuses Shizuyu. Maybe you want to lure us out and kill everyone. Kokone yells at the incredulous man in a rage. Then stay here and die like stray dogs. Shizuya claps her hands loudly, drawing everyone's attention. Takuto suggests, those who want to go with us, the rest are waiting for reinforcements, the instructor clarifies. The order is evacuation to the airport. The civilians look at each other in confusion, not knowing what to do. A hand gently touches the instructor's sleeve and she begins to say, A little girl declares that she will go after Akina, her little sister and brother. Disgruntled civilians look at the child's determination. One of the men hesitates. The airport will be safe, right? The crowd is divided. Some are ready to go, others are still hesitant. The main skeptic reluctantly agrees. Okay, I guess. The man joins them and Kokone snorts after him. The instructor commands, everyone pack your bags. We leave in 5 minutes for the airport until morning. As the group walks, someone calls out to Shizuya, Hey Shizuya! The instructor, holding the girl's hand, asks, How do you know they'll come back to life and attack again? Kokone picks it up. This is the first disaster of its kind. Aren't you too knowledgeable? Shizuya replies, I think it's the correlation. Shizuya explains, if MMORPG heroes were to enter reality, they would have 2 trump cards. The first is constant growth. He continues looking at the cocoon. And the second, more problematic one is that players can respawn indefinitely. Shizuya compares the situation to a game. No matter how many times you lose in a dungeon, 1 win is enough. His eyes light up, he is sure. As long as the system is like this, the bosses have no chance, the instructor asks in surprise. Why are you so calm? Shizuya calmly replies to Takuto and the instructor. Me? It's normal, aren't you calm? Takuto objects. We are trained soldiers, but even so. He confesses, clenching his fist. We weren't trained to fight such monsters. We are at the limit, both mentally and physically. Shizuya, seeing their condition, asks, Then why are you trying so hard? The group moves forward and Takuto tells Shizue, You do realize that there's no way to protect everyone here. Takuto continues while looking at Shizuya. You two have a better chance of survival if you go alone. Takuto says to Shizuya with understanding, I know you don't have evil intentions, and you're right. The heroes freeze when they see an ominous emblem, similar to a coat of arms on the dark wall. Takuto is perplexed. There was a national emblem and flag here. Why is he on something like this? He remembers the first time he saluted this symbol without understanding anything. Shizuya calmly replies to Takuto, In any case, you don't have to try so hard. Takuto asks with a smile, If it goes to the extreme, take her and run with the 2 of you. Shizuya looks at Kokone thinking, By the way, what will Kotona-chan do now? Takuto explains, The Kotona family, Akina probably won't leave her either. The instructor walks while holding the girl's hand. Takuto reveals the secret. Due to being injured in her youth, she can't have children. The instructor's face lights up with a gentle smile. She doesn't talk, but she probably always thinks about it. Takuto confesses to Shizuya. That's why she always turned me down. Shizui's hand flashes with energy. Suddenly, a powerful blue beam of energy shoots out. Shizuya shouts, Watch out! And pushes Kokone aside. Shizuya looks up, a drop of blood running down his face from the unexpected attack. Takuto and Kokone turn around in horror at the source of the danger. The other civilians froze in fear as they saw the new threat. Shizuya, with a new scratch, asks, As expected, those guys, are you all safe? Shizui's eyes sparkle with determination, ready for another fight. A red ray pierces the little girl, who whispers in shock, Huh? Falling, the girl calls, Akina, little sister. The instructor looks on in horror. The girl lies lifeless on the ground, blood spreading around her. The instructor's face contorts with grief as she shouts, Kotona-chan! The blue energy arrow that pierced the girl disappears in the distance. The instructor raises his gun in a rage, shouting, Dangerous! Get back! Takuto, Shizuya, and Kokone rush away from the new threat. Shizuya thinks darkly. Given the archer's accuracy, he couldn't have missed. He understands. Their goal from the very beginning was Kotona. The enemy archer is hiding. The instructor's eyes burn with rage as she unleashes an attack. Light chain! A powerful bolt of light hits the fleeing enemy directly in the chest. The enemy falls. Takuto shouts, "They're killing children, monsters!" The instructor orders, "Calm down!" Takuto holds the instructor down, yelling, "Let me go!" Shizuya screams in panic, "Don't come out, come back immediately!" The heroes freeze in front of a huge shadow. Blood splatters everywhere. Shizuya realizes in horror, why didn't I remember earlier? A level 40 sea golem, an allied unit from the Azure Land, appears in front of them. Shizuya recalls, players used a bug to lure enemies to the golem for easy boss hunting. Blood drips from above, and Shizuya and Kokoni stare at the looming threat. The Dark Knight appears, his hand wrapped in sinister blue energy. The knight attacks the golem, impaling it and chopping off its leg. Kokoni whispers, "It's absorbing," as the knight drains energy from the defeated golem. System message, Shadow Archer has received the title Hidden Cave Conqueror. Shizuya's expression darkens as the Dark Knight hisses angrily, "So they're getting rewards. Are we just monsters to you?" The knight shouts furiously, "This is just a game to you. Our hatred, our bonds are all just a design." Multicolored shards of energy flash around, heralding something grandiose. Shizuya decides, then, system windows warn of stalkers when omniscience is activated. A blue-haired girl with shining eyes asks, "Really activate?" Shizui's face is covered in patterns of energy. Unique trait, omniscience and omnipotence activated. He gains the skill Fireball. Shizuya gains new powers, a defensive stance and the blessing of holy light. The system continues to give out rewards, a rare broken crystal arrow and the archer skill Light Arrow. The Dark Knight clenches his fist. Sometimes things happen in this game. Errors. Shizuya, wrapped in blue energy, reaches forward. It can't be helped, right? A fireball explodes, hitting the Dark Knight as Shizuya prepares his next attack. Shizui's face contorts with determination. The system announces, trait, joint attack when hit by another class. Shizuya brings down his shining sword. The system adds, one additional charged attack is possible. The Dark Knight is shattered by a powerful blue blow.
Shizuya looks at the disappearing enemy. Can you understand the feelings of those who stayed behind?
The system reports rare loot, a broken crystal arrow and the archer's technical shot skill. New notifications, magic cannon. A has been detected, and the double demon A's fast mana skill has been obtained. Shizuya hovers among the shards of energy. The system finds cannon B and the double demon B mana sweep skill. Terrified civilians shout, "What is this? Run!" upon seeing a new threat. A huge stone golem looms over Shizuya wrapped in a blue aura. Shizui's hand glows as he thinks, Akina and Takuto. He clenches his fist, energy crackling around the dark crystal on his knuckle. The golem's giant fist slams down, and Shizuya dodges, hearing, "Your mission." Shizui's eyes sparkle blue as he resolutely declares, "I accept it." The system reports, sea level 40 golem reduces damage by 50%, strength 3. Shizuya thinks, rationally I shouldn't fight head-on, but if I can buy some time... The golem stomps loudly, and Shizuya barely manages to dodge, leaving a blue trail. A bright burst of orange energy hits the stone giant's side. Shizuya attacks with fast mana, confident. I can handle it, I can beat him. A series of bright explosions shake the golem's stone body. Shizuya stabs the golem, sending up clouds of dust. The golem's red eye flashes, readying itself for a retaliatory attack. Shizuya looks at the approaching threat with determination in his eyes. The golem releases a powerful red beam of X-Rush energy. Shizuya dodges, the beam exploding the ground behind him. The deadly beam chases after Shizuya, leaving destruction in its wake. Shizuya activates the defensive stance and a blue shield appears on his arm. The red beam collides with the shield, causing a colossal explosion. Shizuya is thrown back by the blast wave and falls to the ground. Kokone shouts, "Shizuya," as he sees him fall among the fleeing people. Wounded Shizuya thinks, the evacuation is delayed. While his attention is on me, run on. The golem raises its fist and Shizuya realizes, healing takes time. My body aches and I can't dodge. Is this really the end? Suddenly there is a cry, "Get out of the way, get out!" Kokone charges forward with determination, pushing the man out of the way. The golem's huge fist swoops down, aiming for Kokone. The golem's fists clatter together, sending up a cloud of dust. Shizuya looks up in disbelief. What? The red-eyed golem turns its head sharply to the side. Shizuya understands. Aggression switched? seeing a new daredevil distracting the monster. Shizuya recalls, golems are designed to protect players. He understands that if the aggro has changed, it means that another player is attacking the golem in its range. Shizuya activates the blessing of the holy light, deciding, don't let him attack the evacuees. It abruptly pushes off the ground, kicking up dust and small rocks. The hero quickly rushes straight at the giant stone golem. Shizuya rushes forward, thinking, golems are strong, but they also have a weak spot. He leaps into the air, aiming for vulnerability through the monster's thick armor. A powerful blast of blue energy hits the golem's energy core precisely. The golem's huge stone arm swings to crush the daredevil. Shizuya meets the blow with his fist, which is wrapped in a fierce blue aura. Shizuya activates the sweep mana, releasing a crushing stream of energy. Multiple energy volleys slam right into the stone giant's chest. The golem's body is shaken by a series of blinding internal explosions. The brightest light shrouds the golem, and Kokoni looks on anxiously. Kokone whispers in horror, Shizu, Suddenly, Shizuya is pierced by a beam of light from below. He realizes, damn, I'm caught! The hero looks into the face of impending doom, thinking, is this really the end? A powerful pillar of golden light bursts out from the ground, engulfing Shizuya. From afar, you can see a giant pillar of light illuminating the ruined landscape. A new imposing figure in dark armor appears from the scattering light. The caption reads, 72 hours have passed since the Shadow Invasion. A military helicopter flies to the place of a powerful explosion among the mountains. A smoking crater with a red glow at the bottom was left on the ground. Someone in a shoe comes to the edge, complaining, damn it, he was taken away! I saw the light and came straight here! The green-haired stranger suggests maybe the enemy self-destructed. A red-haired girl with sharp teeth asks in surprise, huh? She continues, other than the two of us, who else could have cornered those monsters? The green-haired man looks thoughtfully into the distance, considering the situation. In the distance, a silhouette can be seen leaving, and a figure in dark armor with blue eyes appears from below. The redhead lands abruptly, ready to fight. An elite monster? Red-haired girl swings a giant hammer in anticipation. Looks powerful, doesn't it? Her wild look and predatory smile promise a fierce battle. I hope you'll amuse me? The green-haired man pulls the bowstring, explaining, sorry, we're not your target, but when Satsuki is in a rage, there's no stopping her. Satsuki charges with a hammer, and her partner promises, it won't take long, as he fires an arrow. The dark-armored figure dodges the arrow with ease, displaying incredible speed. Satsuki is slain and lies on the ground, blood streaming from her mouth. The green-haired man confronts the Dark Knight while his partner is unconscious. The knight's sword pierces the green-haired man's shoulder, and he realizes this enemy is completely different. The Dark Knight looks at the wounded archer, who understands a completely different class. The glowing eyes of a masked knight do not bode well. The green-haired archer stares in amazement at the retreating Dark Knight. The Dark Knight walks away, heading for the light against the cityscape. Satsuki shouts in a rage, are you underestimating me? Why aren't you finishing me off? The archer suggests thoughtfully, or does he have a different, more important goal? Shizui's mind is swimming, and strange images flash before his eyes. Suddenly, Shizuya opens his eyes, his gaze filled with determination. He looks around, seeing unfamiliar surroundings. First a desk, then bookshelves. Shizuya realizes that he is in a cozy but strange room that clearly belongs to the girl. The hero abruptly sits up in bed, trying to figure out where he is and what happened. Shizuya looks at his right hand in horror. It has changed. It looks like a monster's limb. Shizuya muses, the heat of the golem core. My special feature has absorbed the shards of shadow. I lost my human body. A window pops up in front of him. New features. Chain of Revenge A and B from the Twin Demon and Golem. He understands. In terms of stats, it's roughly level 25, and stats increase with absorbed abilities. Shizuya is sitting on the bed, his hand still monstrous. But more important, why am I here? Suddenly, he catches the pleasant smell of food mixed with something else. A blue-haired girl with headphones hums, and Shizuya thinks, her singing makes you want to cover your ears. Fried eggs are delicious in a frying pan. The girl with the plate turns around. Oh, are you awake? Shizuya stands in the doorway, slightly dazed, and she says, wait a minute, breakfast will be ready soon. He looks at her, confused. What a peaceful daily life. Shizuya ponders. I would like them to react to this terrible situation a little more serious. Outside the window, bad weather is raging. The city is on fire and in ruins. The girl asks with a smile. Well, how is it? While they're having breakfast in the cozy apartment. His monstrous hand is holding the glass and he replies, Yes, very good. Shizuya adds with a slight smile, It's just that I don't have much of an appetite right now. The girl waves her hand. You don't have to be nice. I myself know that it didn't turn out very well. She brags, I have instant noodles and stuff and I have enough food for a week. The girl continues, Or rather I would like to, but I lost everything yesterday when I met you. Lim. Shizuya asks in surprise, You dragged me here when I was unconscious? She explains how she found the cart and brought him back, wondering why he's asking about monsters. The girl confesses to Shizuya, I've been feeling that something wasn't right all this time. She continues, looking at him, I hardly feel any fear or anxiety from you. It's like... Her gaze becomes serious. You're not afraid of being killed. She quietly agrees. You're right, probably. The girl smiles, remembering, I've tried it before, but those guys... Her eyes widen in surprise. They don't really seem to be attacking me. Memory. She sits in the middle of the ruins, surrounded by monsters who ignore her. In the past, she had desperately shouted to the monsters, Attack this way! But to no avail. A huge monster just passed by and she thought, They're not even looking at me. She cheerfully suggests, I thought maybe I had some kind of superpower, like your right hand. Shizuya asks if she sees strange panels like in the game, but the girl denies it. He admits that it sounds ridiculous and his hand transforms into a shining weapon. Shizuya explains that his abilities seem to be related to the game Azure Earth. He shares a hypothesis. The catastrophe in the world is definitely connected with this game, and the girl listens with curiosity. The girl coquettishly declares that his abilities look even cooler, but Shizuya doubts her understanding. Shizuya looks grim. If his guesses are correct, humanity is in terrible danger. The girl, cross-legged, is interested in his future plans. Shizuya resolutely states, We need to leave Rinkai immediately and go to Kaijo. He explains that his important comrades are in Kaijo, and he must check if they are safe. The girl's eyes sparkle, and she says, Then... A girl with a sly smile declares, Then, I'm coming with you. Shizuya is doubtful. Hold on. If your peculiarity is real, wouldn't it be safer for you to act alone? She leans wearily on the table. I can do everything by myself, but I do not know what to do. Her gaze becomes piercing. Besides, she recalls the past while hugging someone. You don't look like someone who would die easily either. The dark, oppressive atmosphere of their position hangs over the table between them. Shizuya stares resolutely to the side, considering her words. They both turn abruptly at the sound of the door. Shizuya listens to a strange grinding sound. That sound... The door handle twitches. Someone is trying to pick the lock. Shizuya gestures for silence, his monstrous hand tense. He resolutely tells her, Leave it to me. Go hide. The girl quickly disappears, and Shizuya grabs the tray and heads for the door. Shizuya hopes with a serious face, as long as it's a false alarm. A hand outside presses the handle and the door is about to open. The door opens a crack, and a dark silhouette appears in the doorway with the words, Hello? 3 hooded strangers with stern faces are standing outside the door. Shizuya asks the newcomers with a slight smile, Who are you? One of them, a guy, apologizes, saying that he didn't expect to find anyone here. Shizuya responds, Don't worry, in this situation, survival is the main thing, right? The guy in the hood shares, They were running away from the monsters, unable to meet any survivors. Shizuya invites them inside because it's raining outside and monsters are roaming around. The 3 of them enter, and Shizuya invites them to sit down and get something to drink. The girl from the shelter whispers Lim softly, watching the guests warily. One of the newcomers looks for the bathroom. A girl from the shelter quietly suggests its location. Her face is a close-up. Alarm and disbelief are evident in her gaze at strangers. Shizuya returns with drinks for 2, trying to be hospitable. The bespectacled guy gives Shizuya a piercing look. What's wrong with your right hand? Shizui's bandaged right arm draws everyone's attention. He invents a story about a long-standing trauma. Another guest sympathizes with his lonely lot. The guest notices the abundance of supplies. Shizuya replies that he bought them online. The guy sighs about the collapsed world, asking Shizuya about his future plans. Shizuya notices with a small grin that it's a little cramped for 4 people. The stranger in the cap grins maliciously, but for 3, it will be just right. Suddenly, he swings the pipe at Shizuya's head. Shizui's right hand flashes blue, transforming into a weapon. With one block, he smashes the pipe to splinters, and the attacker is stunned. The second stranger, wearing glasses, pulls out a stun gun. Shizuya abruptly dodges, and the shocker darts fly past. With a lightning-fast kick, he knocks the weapon out of the opponent's hands. The taser goes flying away, knocked out by Shizui's precise punch. The guy in the cap gets hit and shouts furiously, "You bastard!" Shizui's shining hand pierces through the opponent, knocking him back with blood coming out of his mouth. Shizuya looks at the fallen man with icy calm, and the guy with glasses whispers, "Monster!" Horrified, the fallen bespectacled man asks if Shizuya was pretending to be a human. Shizuya confirms. Shizuya looks down on the enemy. "Fortunately, I'm a monster now." His blade arm crashes down, destroying the stun gun. "Not a defenseless civilian." Shizuya raises his weapon with burning eyes. "What you thought I was." A sudden shout makes Shizuya turn around. "Stop attacking immediately!" Shizuya and the third stranger are joined by the feet of a girl in slippers. She intervened. The knife blade glints dangerously at the girl's neck. A stranger holds the girl hostage, threatening Shizuya. "Or she dies," her captor hisses angrily. She realized that Shizuya wasn't alone after noticing the interior details. Shizuya blames himself for the miscalculation and the lack of thought-out plan. He underestimated the danger, thinking himself safe from the monsters. Shizuya forgot about the most terrifying creature, a human. The defeated bandits are lying on the floor, the girl is a hostage. The stranger explains that she was looking for shelter, attracted by the smell. She notices Shizui's strange hand and feels threatened. The invader demands 3 more crates of supplies, threatening the girl with a knife at her throat. Shizui's blade hand strikes the target with a flash of blood. The girl turns around in horror, not believing her eyes from the speed of the attack. The kidnapper falls with a cry, pierced through by Shizui's blade. The freed girl shouts to Shizuya, "This way, Tokiwaki Shizuya!" The dying bandit looks at them, and the girl realizes that Shizui's hand is a sword. Close-up of Shizui. His face is splattered with blood and his eyes are icy. As Shizuya stands over the fallen girl, the system announces, "Noble Level 41. The Azure Land map reveals a rule. Death from a player activates the Thirst for Revenge mode. After taking revenge on the killer, the player can recover their lost items like these warriors over a defeated monster." Shizuya pushes the girl forward, yelling at her to run without looking back. The bespectacled man looks up in horror. The dark figure of the Avenger looms over him. Blood sprays everywhere as the Avenger takes down the first bandit. A ghostly knight with a shining sword announces to Shizue, "My target is you." Shizuya blocks the knight's strike with his transformed arm, sparks flying. With a powerful kick, Shizuya tries to push the ghost warrior away. The knight's kick knocks Shizu back out of the window. Shizuya falls from a height in the rain, and the knight watches him go. While flying, Shizuya activates fast mana, his eyes flashing with energy. The knight leaps after him, raising his sword for a deadly blow in the air. Shizuya slides along the wet side of the building, evading the pursuit in the rain. The knight lands in a puddle with a crash, sending up a fountain of spray. The pursuer notices Shizuya running away and is not going to back down. Shizuya quickly runs up the stairs, trying to break away. He winces at the pain in his shoulder, startled by the force of the Avenger's blow. Sitting down on the steps, Shizuya activates Energy Meltdown and Holy Light Blessing. He admits that his physical strength is inferior to elite monsters, despite the fusion of skills. The knight's armored foot steps up the stairs, catching up with Shizuya. A ghostly warrior with a shining sword is ready to continue the relentless hunt. Shizuya with purple eyes releases dispelling mana towards the enemy. The knight, surrounded by golden flashes, rushes forward uncontrollably. The dark silhouette of an Avenger with a glowing sword appears on the 4th floor landing. The knight releases a technical shot. A cloud of blue energy flies to Shizuya. Shizuya prepares to meet the powerful attack. The knight raises his huge shining sword. A horizontal slash from the Avenger's sword lands on Shizuya, who tries to block it. Close up, the knight's shining blade pushes down hard on Shizui's defense. Shizuya dodges, and the knight's sword slams into the wall, confirming his guess. Shizuya retaliates with a fist that explodes orange sparks on the knight's armor. Shizuya muses. The enemy information on the map is only 2-dimensional, without taking into account the height. He decides it is better to use a narrow space with height differences and poor visibility. Shizuya understands that one tactic against such an enemy will not be enough. He decides to attack for sure, releasing a fireball at the Avenger. A bright explosion lights up the stairwell at the knight's feet. Flashes can be seen outside the building as Shizui's fire attack continues. The stairs are ablaze, but the knight's silhouette doesn't waver. The ghost warrior slowly steps out of the raging fire. The knight activates Holy Breath, healing with green energy. He wonders if there are any other shadow warriors here. Shizuya attacks again from above, but the knight is already protected. Shizuya realizes that these opponents are much stronger than the ones in the cave. Shizuya recalls the incident on the train. He only survived because of his skills and terrain. He understands. These enemies definitely wouldn't give him a second chance. Lightning flashes in the sky above the city, heralding something. Shizuya notices a thunderstorm outside the window, and a thought strikes him. Close up, determination flashes in Shizui's eyes. Exactly. He looks up the stairs, considering a risky new plan. Someone's shoe steps hard into a puddle on the street in the pouring rain. A rescued girl in the rain anxiously calls out to Tokiwaki Shizuyu. She hears a crash from the building and is worried. Is Shizuya okay? The girl sees a dark figure on the street, emitting green energy discharges. The girl wonders, is this really an ally of that guy from the past? She understands that the situation is worse than before, but how can she help Shizuya? Her gaze falls on a huge truck parked nearby in the rain. A sudden thought strikes her. Exactly. If I use this... The girl's hands rest on the steering wheel and lever. She starts the vehicle. With determination in her eyes, she thinks, I'll do what I can without becoming a target. The cloaked figure turns at the roar of the engine and the glare of the headlights. A thunderstorm thunders over the city, and lightning strikes the dark sky. Meanwhile, Shizuya is standing on the roof, ready for action in the downpour. He resolutely heads for the door leading off the roof. Green energy envelops the cloaked figure. Shizuya in the rain, it looks like he is surrounded by enemies on the roof. Resolutely, I will accept the challenge. The city below in the pouring rain. A fight on the roof, flashes of energy. Shizuya attacks while surrounded by blue symbols. The blade of the sword cuts through the air. The knight aims an energy bow. Shizuya dodges, hitting the roof. A massive explosion shakes the roof, scattering debris in the rain. Suddenly, a girl with pink hair and a huge weapon appears on the roof, challenging the knight. She suggests to the knight, why don't you take your mind off that goal and fight me? The knight turns around, his voice strained. Thanks to the likes of you, I'm now... The girl interrupts, her eyes blazing with rage. Fucking angry. She unleashes a powerful roundhouse kick at the knight, sending up torrents of water. The knight is thrown backward, his body enveloped in blue bolts, his whip-like tail flickering in the air. He clings to a nearby building with his whip, trying to evade the attack. The girl looks after him disdainfully. For an elite, you don't have a drop of fighting spirit. It's disgusting. She looks enviously in Shizui's direction. I envy that guy who's raging out there, and yet he... The girl looks at Shizuya fighting the shadow warrior in surprise. Who is he? Shizuya gets hit in the face, but his resolve is not broken. Shizui's eyes flash as he unleashes a fierce attack on the cloaked enemy. Shizui's punch hits the target, slicing through the dark figure. Shizuya lands, his blade still glowing, and the enemy retreats. Suddenly, a knight appears, his armor shimmering with green energy. The knight activates Holy Breath again, healing their wounds. Shizuya understands. If you don't break the connection with his allies, he will heal. I'll run out of steam first. A cloaked figure shrouded in green light swiftly attacks Shizuya. Shizuya ponders, if I can remove the healer, stop this holy breath, I will have a chance. But how? A knight in a green glow descends on Shizuya from above. Shizuya is startled. The connection is gone! The priest was disabled? From the roof, you can see a car and a healer below. This car? Kokone Ichijo? Kokone is behind the wheel, her face expressing confidence. Yes. She sees the cloaked healer. As I thought, he won't attack. Kokone pulls the lever firmly. In that case, a sudden green beam sweeps past and Kokone barely dodges. The cloaked healer releases a powerful energy punch. Kokone is shocked. Her calculation was wrong. Suddenly, a mysterious green-haired man with a blue artifact appears. Green-haired stranger evaluates the healer. So it was the civilian who fought back? He's already driving an electric car. It's not my style to interfere, but... The healer mutters irritably, elite support without coordination. Rare, right? Someone's boots quickly cut through puddles on the asphalt. Meanwhile, on the roof, Leon unleashes a new blue flame attack on Shizuya. Shizuya sees the attack. That Leon cut again? Shizui's eyes flash blue as he prepares to defend himself. The knight's punch hits home, and Shizuya lets out a strangled cry. Enraged, Shizuya slams his foot down on the small dark figure under his feet. His eyes are burning blue. Damn it! Shizui's feet furiously cut through the puddles on the roof. Shizuya realizes it was on the edge. Just a moment more and I would have... He looks at the knight. These guys are basically players from the Azure Land. Shizuya analyzes, not only do their stats increase, but also their combat skills. The longer the fight, the worse it will be for us. Leon attacks again, but Shizuya thinks, in this battle, stalling for time is my only chance of victory. Shizui's eyes flash with determination, because a powerful pillar of blue energy bursts from the roof where the battle is taking place. The silhouette, engulfed in blinding light, bends from the impact. Knight Leon stands shrouded in lightning. Status reads, Aristocrat, near death, paralyzed, level 41. The sword falls from Leon's weakened hand, clattering on the wet roof. Shizuya stands in the pouring rain next to the defeated enemy. He looks at Leon. It's a pity, but you didn't understand the rules of the game again, and this was your downfall. Knight lies face down in a puddle. This time you have lost to the laws of this world. Shizuya explains, pointing at the lightning rod. Lightning strikes metal at a height. People call it a lightning rod. He jumps back. By the way, this is to avoid stepping voltage when the lightning rod deflects the shock. Shizuya admits, to be honest, it's not the wisest plan. If my luck wasn't right, I would have been struck by lightning. His sword is still crackling with energy, but I still took the risk. Silhouette of Shizui with a sword plunged into Leon against the background of a storm. Red hieroglyphs foreshadow danger. Shizuya is surprised. Leon's aristocrat dying status disappears. What? The body doesn't disappear? A powerful bolt of lightning pierces the knight's body through Shizui's blade. A voiceover asks, Hey, can we stop this? The same voice continues, You're here to kill us humans, aren't you? Energy crackles in the background. A powerful pink explosion blows everything to pieces. A figure with red eyes appears in the gap. Nothing will be solved if you just run away. A giant blue energy blade crashes down from above, directly at the red-haired girl. The impact shakes the ground, but the girl is already on the side with a huge red power unit. A girl with burning eyes shouts, Yes! Here it is! This is how it should be! She gives chase, but someone shouts, Stop! Satsuki, don't chase them too far! Satsuki turns around in annoyance. Eh? Why is that? The green-haired man observes, Our elite monster also suddenly retreated. He must have received an order. Satsuki angrily shouts at the green-haired man, What's the difference? I'm going to explode. She adds with a twinkle in her eye, Plus, we've received orders from the boss to gather. Kokone watches him go, thinking, The boss's orders are absolute. These people don't look like Shizuya. Green-haired offers, Then meet me at point B1, and Kokone thinks about his allies. Kokone decides, Okay, it's more important to find out about Tokiwaki Shizuya. Meanwhile, a lone figure scurries across the wet roofs in the rain. A sinister monster with a scarlet eye stares up at the sky, rain dripping down its dark silhouette. It's been 102 hours since the shadow invasion began. Helicopters are patrolling the ruined city. The rescue team receives the coordinates of the disaster and orders to immediately move on the mission. The headquarters informs rescuers. The targets are one man and one woman. Proceed with the rescue. The rescue helicopter is rapidly approaching the roof, where two people are waiting. The blue-haired girl exclaims happily, Yes, salvation is here. There's a black-haired guy standing next to her. The girl looks into the helicopter in surprise. What the hell? Who are you? The pilot is puzzled. Huh? Heck, I heard there was a man and a woman, so I assumed. The guy asks the girl, You thought it was Okamoto Takudo and Komodo Akina, right? She is shocked by his knowledge. Already in the helicopter, the guy says thoughtfully, These two, he explains, they took a refugee rescue mission and fought alongside me. I got this radio from them. The helicopter flies away from the destroyed buildings, carrying the rescued. The pilot grimly states, I see. Not a single piece of good news since yesterday. The pilot says, We'll drop you off at the nearest shelter. We still have a mission, but the guy is interested in their next item. The pilot, seeing the guy's interest, decides to share unclassified information. The guy realizes, Shadows, the information matches. Does anyone else see the monster data? He asks emphatically, To Kaijo City? Take me with you. The pilot is shocked by such a request. The pilot warns you, We are going there as reinforcements. There is almost no chance of returning. But the guy is adamant. The pilot, seeing his determination, asks, You understand that, right? May I know the reason? The guy explains, I have important friends there. I won't be in the way, just leave me there, I can handle it. The pilot agrees. That sounds good. You've survived so long, so you're strong. Good. The helicopters continue on their way. The girl looks at the guy reproachfully. Important friends, right? More important than your own life? She smiles slyly, suggesting, Maybe, is it a girl? The guy answers with a slight smile. The one who lives in Kaijo is a woman, but others have also gone there. So what? The blue-haired girl smiles coquettishly. I'm jealous. I wish I had so many friends. The girl stretches in the helicopter. Fwah! Looking at the propeller is so soporific. She leans in and says, Do you mind if I lie on your shoulder for a while? The guy with his eyes closed replies, Come on. Suddenly, the guy opens his eyes wide, sensing something amiss. The pilot shouts, This is Cat 5. We have arrived at the designated point. It looks like we're being attacked by an enemy. The girl looks at the guy worriedly. Tokiwaki Shizuya, what happened? Shizuya stares intently ahead, a red light of alarm lighting up his face. Explosions and flying helicopters are visible in the sky above the city. Shizuya says, The war? Tanks and soldiers are engaged in a fierce battle on the streets of the destroyed city. On the streets, tanks and soldiers are trapped in a glowing magic circle. The military falls under the discharge of powerful energy, unable to resist. A huge armored monster appears on the roof, surrounded by the same glow. The projectiles rush towards the monster standing on top of the building. A massive explosion shakes the skyscraper, sending up plumes of smoke and debris. A dark winged silhouette looms over the helicopter as the system confirms the target's destruction. Suddenly, a winged monster attacks the helicopter, causing another explosion and a request for backup. The signals from the battlefield disappear one by one as the giant arm hovers over the small drone. The monster's huge armored paw swings to crush the tiny flying device. Blow! A giant hand collapses, destroying the last hope of communication. A giant armored monster with glowing eyes looms over the soldiers holding the defense. An armored monster roars in the midst of fire and destruction, its power unquestionable. Shizuya looks at the burning city of Kaijo, confessing, There's another reason why I'm heading there. He continues as the helicopters fall from the sky. A reason I didn't tell anyone about, if it's like in the game, as your Earth fortress will attack first. Military helicopters are engaged in a fierce battle over skyscrapers, desperately shooting back. Shizuya ponders. The tower of a high-rank battlefield room is probably... The gaze is fixed on the tall clock tower. He concludes, looking up at the ominous tower. The C-Zone. A helmeted soldier shouts over the roar of explosions. Don't mess with us! We have weapons for modern warfare. But his words are drowned out by the sight of a winged monster easily dodging the fire. It's useless against such creatures. The pilot shouts in panic. What? Guidance radar failed. Shizuya calmly suggests, Probably a barrier. You'll have to aim manually. Shizuya ponders. In modern warfare, information is a weapon, but it is useless if the enemy knows all our moves. He recalls the game. I have achieved this by countless attempts. Winged creatures are visible on the screen. Shizuya suddenly calls out to the girl, Kokone Ichijo, and she is surprised. He grabs her hand. There's no time to explain. Can you whistle? Kokone is confused. Ooh, I can, but why is it so sudden? Shizuya abruptly pushes Kokone out of the helicopter, shocked. The girl falls down with a cry, and Shizuya stands at the open hatch. Shizuya stares resolutely after her, holding on to the edge of the helicopter. Suddenly, an armored dragon with glowing blue patterns appears in the air. Shizuya stands with a huge glowing blue sword, ready for battle. Shizuya swings his shining sword at the dragon, shattering its armor with lightning bolts. The pilots stare in horror at Shizuya, who is already outside, blood splattering on the glass. Shizuya, with bruises on his face, shouts at them, Fly away, quickly! A little dragon on his shoulder. With huge glowing wings, Shizuya soars. activating the Brave banner to strengthen his allies. The dragon's head dodges projectiles while other monsters attack helicopters in the sky. The dragon releases a powerful beam of energy. The system reports, powerful attack activated, cooldown is 5 seconds. Helicopters desperately maneuver and shoot back in the chaos of air combat with winged creatures. Shizuya decides, I won't change the course of the battle myself, first you need to get on the ground. He is preparing to jump. He falls down, surrounded by a pack of dark dragons, and realizes, this is bad. Many winged monsters roar towards the falling Shizuya. Shizuya desperately clings to the ledge as he falls, dodging the attack. He grabbed the clawed paw of one of the pursuing dragons. Using the monster as a springboard, Shizuya pushes off among the shards of armor. Suddenly, a hand grabs his wrist tightly in midair. Kokone Ichijo, shouting, Gotcha! Catches it in free fall. Shizuya is stunned. Why did you come back? To save you, of course, she replies. Kokone explains, you pushed me out without a word, but I realized that if I whistled... Her long hair flutters as the dark silhouette of a dragon swoops towards her from above. Now they are both on the back of a huge dragon. Kokone says, this kid will help us. The dragon abruptly changes course, Kokone screams, and Shizuya holds her back. The dragon abruptly changes course, Kokone is surprised. What happened? You were listening to me. Shizuya, holding her down, shouts, he doesn't consider me an ally. A memory pops up. In the game, this is a griffin, a creature of order that instinctively saves people falling from the sky. Riding on a dragon, they dash through the urban jungle, barely dodging buildings. Powerful blow. The dragon breaks through the wall of the skyscraper, bursting inside. Kokone and Shizuya shake off the dust in the middle of the wreckage, and the girl spits out blood. The dragon flies out of the breach, leaving them on the ruined floor. Shizuya swings his sword. It can't be helped! Kokone shouts, wait! She resolutely stops him. Let me talk to him. Kokone says to the returning dragon, you're scared, aren't you? Kokone reassures the dragon, he won't do any harm, he saved me. Be a good girl, put us down. Shizuya watches in surprise as she tries to negotiate with the monster. He reflects, I've never met a player who can communicate like that. A game pops up in his mind. For players, enemies are just experience and loot. No one tries to talk to them. Shizuya looks at Kokone. Only someone as extraordinary as Kokone Ichijo can do this. He concludes, perhaps she is even more unique than I am. The dragon gently lowers them into the water and flies away over the city. Kokone, floundering in the water next to Shizuya, shouts at the dragon, thank you! The silhouette of the dragon disappears against the background of the moon. Kokone waves to him. Take care of yourself. The girl notices Shizui's pensive expression. Is something wrong? You're suddenly quiet. No, nothing, he replies. Shizuya says that they finally reached Kaijo City, despite all the difficulties. They are sitting by a campfire on the side of the road, under a lone tree. Kokone, looking at the fire, asks Shizuya about his future plans. Shizuya admits that he did not expect such a rapid takeover of the Koto district by the shadows. In the distance, you can see the bridge leading to the city shrouded in twilight. Kokone anxiously asks where his friends are, hoping that they are not in the captured area. Shizuya turns away silently, his determination obvious. Kokone grabs his arm, begging him not to go into the dangerous area, but he is adamant. The girl puts her hand to her forehead in despair, marveling at his stubbornness. Shizuya confidently states that he has a plan, while Kokone looks at him suspiciously. Kokone explains with a smile. Makes sense, right? The shadows don't touch me, so I'll be safer in Koto. Shizuya doubts her personality, but Kokone impatiently demands, enough! Describe your friends, do you have a photo? Shizuya doesn't say anything, but Kokone looks at him with a sly grin. He sighs heavily, seemingly resigned to her insistence. Kokone looks over his shoulder as he searches for a photo. Last meeting was about 2 years ago. A group photo is displayed on the phone screen. Kokone notices it. You were posing back then, right? And the guy next to you is blushing. The girl in the photo catches her attention. Oh, what a beauty! She has such an aura, maybe from a rich family? Shizuya replies, this is Hayane Hitomi. I don't know how she lives, but she's not what you think. Kokone listens intently. Kokone enthusiastically declares, got it! I'll definitely find her, don't worry. Shizuya looks incredulous. He shows her the phone with the details. I wrote down the meeting place and what to do if anything, but be careful not to overestimate your specialness. Yes, yes, she says. Kokone pushes Shizuya away. Hey, move over, you're in the way. And they keep running. The girl covers her mouth with a smile, looking up at something. Kokone happily greets a dragon flying towards her under the full moon. Shizuya watches her go, thinking, after all, she gets used to everything too quickly. By the campfire, the guy thinks, of course, I'm not going to trust her with everything. I let her go because my plan. Shizuya looks at the city from above. Doesn't involve her. The camera zooms in on the sunlit streets of a modern city. Dark knights race through the streets on terrible steeds carrying banners. Energy surrounds the riders as they speed forward. The knights engage in a fierce battle, their armor gleaming. A soldier shouts an order. Lure the enemy cavalry and archers into the park. The sniper scope is aimed at a creepy hooded figure, one of the enemies. A sniper is ambushed, but a huge shadow monster swoops down on top of him. A powerful energy kick knocks back a sniper caught off guard. Shizuya suddenly appears, knocking down the shadow monster with a kick. Shizuya doesn't hesitate to fire his pistol at the enemy. Bullets hit the target, and the shadow monster recoils from the unexpected attack. The rescued soldier is surprised and asks Shizuya what unit he is from. Shizuya asks for the nearest command post, and the soldier points to the station. Shizuya says with icy calm, I see. His gaze is determined. In the real world, the skyscrapers of Kaijo Station tower over the city. The map shows the Kaijo Station, which in the game corresponds to the core of the nest. Shizuya, rolling on the grass, decides there he will meet the main forces of humanity. He looks down at his right hand, wondering how people will react to his peculiarity. Soldiers with heavy weapons storm the exit of the subway, firing. Shizuya enters the station, assuming that the subway is still under human control. Suddenly, turrets appear from the ceiling, aimed directly at him. Shizuya jumps back at the last moment, dodging the barrage of gunfire. His right hand flashes blue, becoming covered in crystal ice. Shizuya prepares for battle, his hand turned into an ice weapon. Shizuya, using the ice shield on his arm, deflects the barrage of gunfire from the turrets. He's concentrating his mana, his hand glowing as he prepares to counterattack. Shizui's powerful energy barrage destroys the automatic turrets. Suddenly, soldiers appear, mistaking Shizuya for an enemy and preparing to open fire. Shizuya tries to stop them. Wait, I'm a human. The soldiers are confused. The soldiers are doubtful. Then why did the shadow alarm go off, and what happened to your arm? Shizuya is surprised. An alarm for the shadows. Where is it from? The shadows only appeared a few days ago. He raises his hands, assuring, it's a long story, but I'm definitely human. The soldiers order him to move away. Shizuya notices shadow monsters approaching behind the soldiers, and the situation escalates. The soldiers, not seeing the threat from behind, open fire on Shizuya, bullets flying at him. The soldiers are horrified to see a horde of shadow knights charging at them. Shizuya uses an icy hand to deflect bullets while thinking, this place won't last long, while the metro is running. The guy pushes off from the platform, his arm glowing with energy. Shizuya makes a daring jump down, directly onto the roof of the train. He lands on the train, his hand still wrapped in blue flames. The train rushes through the dark tunnel, taking Shizu deeper into the station. An unidentified signal appears on the radar of the command post, moving along the metro line. An order to intercept. Shizuya is enveloped in lightning as he rushes on the roof of the train to his destination. There are soldiers waiting ahead of him, and Shizuya knows they're serious. The soldier takes aim with a heavy weapon, and the large caliber goes straight at Shizuya. Shizuya's icy hand fends off a powerful projectile, lightning crackling all around. He grins, realizing, this power surpasses even the shadows. Shizuya is thrown back by a hail of gunfire as he somersaults in the air, dodging. Pressed against the wall, he understands. If I don't break through, there's no way to negotiate. His hand glows and he decides, it's hard to get through without injuring anyone. Suddenly, there is a command from above, hands forming an order. Cease fire! Shizuya is surprised to see the soldiers lowering their weapons. A message appears on the device screen. An error has been detected in the alarm system. An elegant blonde man comes down the stairs. The soldiers make way. He's not a shadow. The blonde's confident gaze leaves no doubt. He's an ally. Shizuya is stunned when he recognizes the blonde man. Is that him?